Good morning, just waking up. Don't look, man, I didn't shave yet. I'm just waking up. I don't know, but anyway. Good morning or whatever. Good evening, good night, wherever you are, right? I just wanted to talk on a state level for one more second. The ongoing, I notice there's a lot of this just real quick guy scam. And it doesn't matter, left, right, and center, they're doing the same exact technique. For instance, Trump is really just real quick with the executive orders, some of them he's trying to do, even with the AI thing, where he doesn't want states to be able, just one policy, but even Congress couldn't get their act together to do that. So he's definitely not going to be able to do that. Some of the other things, but that's just a tactic that both sides just real quick. I think of the law, even on a state level in Florida, I complained about Florida because they completely switched from the most secure, had all kinds of analog marks and your signature was right on the paper ballot and you used a pen and marked it up. They went from that to just a complete piece of shit with a sus, result for some of the amendments or whatever they were, like the direct, the one about pot or the abortion one. But speaking with whether you were for or against either of these things, because even me, I'm pro-choice, but the way that was written, they did the same thing, but the other way. Just real quick, guy, that particular, whatever it was, an amendment or something, was written in a way that it said, it was basically a loophole for unlimited abortions from a doctor right on up till birth, and there was nothing anyone could do about it, especially at a later point in Congress with the law. They still were trying to just real quick, guy, even though it's some some random proposed direct to the citizen bill for the state, the way they wrote it was just that in the future, Congress can't change this if it passes. And that the way it was written, there was a loophole for if your doctor says that there's a health risk, not an imminent life-threatening, a health risk of any kind, you can get an abortion right on up to the 9th month, in addition to legalizing it through whatever it was. And there's no recourse in the future. That was what was weird. There's no recourse in the future for a Congress or a future vote of citizens at a later point, the same way they were doing it, to undo it. And so, which is very similar to how they're writing to what Trump's doing on it. They're all just real quick, guy, trying to set policy. Every one of them is stooge. They believe the new religion as well as the state is just whoever has a platform to talk. If you keep your trap shut, it's a bunch of con artists who don't want to notice that they could fix things, but they will lie by omission to protect scam after scam, especially communication scam, where they have an iron fist on the narrative. And I'm not lying about that because people are really getting whooped and bullied in the shadows, and then some judge in the shadows will say cry more. But obviously if you gave public scrutiny and it was like a court case, that judge would have something different to say about it. They might even be a defendant in some other case, because there's a lot of bullies here and they just have a double standard. They want to pretend that whatever it is, especially if it has anything to do with freedom or constitutional rights or the higher power in Jesus stuff, those three in particular, they're upright, church and state or whatever, God and country. So they pretend they like that best. And then as you can see, that's not once what's going on here. Just out of thin air, what it is they worship basically an internet scam. We're just real quick, guy, if you sold your soul and switched, if you're just willing to give up Christmas and Easter or any other good and fruitful old traditional values, if you're just willing to keep your trap shut and be a con artist and hide deeds in the dark, because they say they're a slave to the dark, we can't use the light, so, we're guilty, so we gotta do the lie on the dark. And since when can't you, even if you were guilty, use it? But they're going to decree that even for the next generation who didn't do it, to make sure their teeth are set on edge. They can never enjoy. They're a police state, surveillance state from day one. And now even with that, Google commercial from the Super Bowl that took heat with the dog recognition AI thing, and then they swear they won't do that. Well, number one, they're already showing you they have that technology. If you can already sign your thing up so that the dog they can do that with dogs, they can do that with people, they even show you they do that. With the state cameras in public, everyone knows that. There's facial recognition, they show you. We even know they do that. The public knows, that's why you can't really hide anymore if you walk around in public, if they have a shot of your face or whatever. So now Google, a private company, or was it Amazon or one of them with the Ring cameras, wanted to do that. But they already, that's the least of it. There's an ongoing scam where, just real quick, they do not tell certain people that other people just look at the phone and get paid, and so that's all that is going on here. There's a new religion of con artists where the phone is good. The phone will pay you in PayPal or crypto or any number of sneaky ways. Just real quick, guy, you follow phone. That's your religion. The phone is God. The scam is king. Though his mind is not for rent to any scam or government, he reserves a quiet defense. You're guilty. You're a piece of shit. We can prove it. We can prove it. You send us threats, and then you say, yeah, but as long as people don't acknowledge that they're being threatened, as long as people can't actually connect, it's the same exact scam for all of them, even though there's plenty of receipts that could be brought right away. They just status quo, auto-divisive, and then they just want a real quick guy take, write and script and pretend that's the same. An executive order is not the same as something that passes through the Congress and is codified into a law. There is a process. They want to, with whatever it is, the traditional values of they're guilty, and they just don't want you to be able to point out in public, here's their ideology, here's what they were teaching children, here's what they said on the dark web, here's where all those 500,000 young people who went missing, here's where you could order a bunch of them. Turns out many in America knew that, while the news knew they knew that and kept their traps shut. It's a complete they're hiding their only religion is they don't like the Constitution too good in this country. If they be American or even it's just, they're all lying. So we can't I'm not going to shut up about it. It's just that every single day. So even if I take certain days off, now I'll use my free speech to try and be a voice for the voiceless myself, but also others. And then you say, oh no, I don't think anyone else is gonna. It's a complete, they'll stab you and then they'll suggest, fuck your feelings. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. When that's not the problem here. You're stabbing us, you're smushing us, you're just writing us off the page, but yet you're an impeccable minion. You're a stalwart clone, and you don't mean a word of what you say. And just real quick, guy, the bricks in the wall, they're the ones with all the stuff and all the podcasts and all the viewers, because they dutifully keep their trap shut for Satan Faggot Club, verbatim, who is bribing enough of these people with the phone scam and many other ways just should not have a country. Just to everyone on TV and the internet can't be themselves or say what they think or mean what they say. They can't elaborate. They got to allude to things. That for decades it's been like that, but then it got really out of hand real quick after '08. And then there was Occupy Wall Street, and like I said, that was the last gasp. They got bribed off. Some of us were in New York at the time and had to track it, but I digress. Then just real quick, guy, they'll slander you even though you're the hard worker here, and you can't get any job. It's a complete, nothing they say is how it's actually going on. but, I drink it because he's a monster. That may be, but I'm not. I'm just a fellow human that needs grace and don't think I'm better than anyone. But I assure you, God's coming to kick your ass. You did something that was completely unfair and that innocent people had no control over, and you used no mercy. So that's what you're going to get. Right back at you till you make peace and squawk the truth, because I assure you there's some pathological lie that society just won't, a number of them, just won't, with the ideology of choice, rat out with receipts so we can move on and have off-ramps and all acknowledge, all right, yeah, let's just do better than fucking, trap shut con artists, and then sure enough there's something with Hydra and stormtroopers verbatim. Type activity, because they do not see what the problem is here. But boy, oh boy, that's just not true. No, they got it. The problem is they do see. They don't want to say it in public. They're kind of, it's Stragon. God's gonna get it. He's gonna destroy it. That's that. He wrote it down 3,000 years ago and just throws in the human's face. They're doing exactly precisely this stuff, and even have Club Mini-Me to try and match it up to that. I mean, the toast community, they're just toast.